And before we dive into the world of movies, I'd like to take a moment to remind everyone to subscribe to this channel and hit the like button if you enjoy the content. Um, let's get started. As a seasoned movie connoisseur, I've seen my fair share of groundbreaking and not so groundbreaking films. Uh, but there's one phenomenon that's fascinated me for years. Uh, the uncanny valley effect. It was a term used to describe when human characters in animation or movies appear creepy or disconcerting due to their realism. The effect is a result of the advancements in technology encountering some uh, growing pains. Great movies have featured examples of the uncanny valley, and while it can't ruin the movie, it certainly doesn't help. So let's take a look at some of the worst examples of the uncanny valley effect in movies. In the 2003 film Hulk, the Academy Award winning director Ang Lee introduced the character of Hulk on the silver screen, despite the film's commercial failure and mixed reception among fans. Initially, it has since been lauded for its innovative approach to the superhero genre. However, the graphics for Hulk in certain scenes have not held up as well over time. The movie features Eric Bana portraying Bruce Banner, a comm scientist who transforms into a powerful creature after being exposed to gamma radiation. In Hulk's debut, superhero films were still gaining momentum, and the technology for convincing visual effects wasn't quite refined yet. This is particularly noticeable in scenes where Hulk goes on a destructive rampage through city streets. The special effects give the character an appearance that resembles traditional stop motion animation, much like the original King Kong from 1933. And as a result, he often seems out of place in his surroundings, has choppy movements, and the people interacting with him lack realism. In 2019, Disney released a live-action adaptation of The Lion King, which narrates the tale of young Simba, who, after losing his father, grapples with his role in fulfilling his destiny to rule Pride Rock. But the special effects are remarkable because they bring lifelike animals to the screen, ranging from lions to baboons to warthogs. Yet it's essential to note that the real animals don't possess the ability to speak or sing. Adding such traits to these realistic creatures gave the characters an eerie resemblance, often referred to as the uncanny valley look. Robert Zemeckis, a skilled filmmaker, has often found himself in the realm of the unsettlingly lifelike. And while his adaptation of A Christmas Carol is his most successful application of motion capture technology, it does come with its own set of challenges. In this rendition of A Christmas Carol, Zemeckis employs the remarkable capabilities of motion capture to metamorphose Jim Carrey into the older Ebenezer Scrooge. This self-absorbed businessman is portrayed as he is visited by three spirits on Christmas Eve, with the intention of inspiring him to reform his ways. In the movie, Scrooge stands out as the most impactful character due to his appearance appearing least like a real person. The effort put into animating Carrie to portray an older man gives him a more exaggerated, almost cartoonish look. Uh, Unfortunately, this becomes more noticeable when compared to other human characters, such as Tiny Tim, emphasizing the uncanny valley effect more distinctly. In 2009, Arnold Schwarzenegger was not the main character for the first time in the Terminator series. Instead, Christian Bale, a winner of the prestigious Oscar, took on the role despite the change. Nods to the original actor were still present. Bale portrayed John Connor in this film, which is set in the future and follows humanity's ongoing struggle for survival. In the thrilling finale of the film, Sam Worthington plays the main Terminator role, but there's a scene where John interacts with an early model of the iconic T-800. Unfortunately, Arnold Schwarzenegger doesn't appear in this brief appearance, and instead, a computer-generated image is used to portray the young T-800. This was intended as a delightful moment for fans, but it might instead feel jarring to viewers, resembling a low-quality video game depiction of the classic character. Grand Moff Tarkin, a character portrayed by Peter Cushing many decades prior, was revived in Rogue One, a Star Wars story, which serves as a prequel to Star Wars A New Hope, delving into the operation to pilfer the Death Star blueprints, enabling the rebels to destroy the Empire's formidable weapon. Or despite Tarkin being introduced in the initial Star Wars film alone, he has become a renowned antagonist within the Star Wars universe. And consequently, it's fitting that he features in this, this narrative. However, utilizing Cushing's likeness proves problematic in certain scenes because Tarkin is intended to be a human character. Interacting with live actors, making his digital visage stand out conspicuously among them. Dwayne Johnson initially portrayed the Scorpion King character in The Mummy Returns, later landing his first leading role in The Scorpion King. In The Mummy Returns, the protagonists try to prevent the evil Imhotep from reviving the Scorpion King and utilizing his forces for global domination. Johnson's character, a formidable and ancient warrior, makes an appearance in the sequel's prologue, and in my movie-loving perspective, the grand finale of that flick takes an unexpected twist as the Scorpion King reappears. But this time, he's a hybrid of a gargantuan scorpion and a digitally enhanced version of Dwayne Johnson. To me, this transformation felt more like watching a character step out from a video game world rather than enhancing the climactic scene. Final Fantasy, The Spirit Within, released in 2001, marked a groundbreaking milestone as it was the initial full-length movie to utilize motion capture technology for character creation. This made it a pioneer, testing the effectiveness of this new technology, featuring an impressive ensemble cast, including Alec Baldwin, Donald Sutherland, Ming-Na Wen, and Steve Buscemi. The narrative revolves around Earth's struggle for survival when it was overrun by mysterious alien beings known as phantoms. When the movie initially released, there was a brief excitement from witnessing this innovative animation style. Unfortunately, this initial thrill couldn't sustain the entire film because the characters had expressionless and lifeless faces, making it challenging to empathize with the narrative. The ambitious endeavor to introduce this technology to mainstream cinema resulted in Final Fantasy: The Spirits. Within being one of the biggest box office flops ever recorded, In 2019, Tom Hooper directed the film adaptation of Cats, which focuses on a group of stray cats who come together for a significant event. Among them, one will be chosen to advance to a higher state and return for another life. As a fervent film enthusiast, I must admit that I found Cats to be an unforgettable disappointment, both for audiences and critics. The primary criticism focused on the peculiar way the feline characters were brought to life. Uh, Instead of being convincing, the CGI creatures featured human faces of the actors pasted onto them. Um, Ultimately, these creations fell short of resembling either cats or humans. Robert Zemeckis re-entered the realm of motion capture uh, with a decidedly more mature tale. Or um, the film Beowulf is an adaptation of the renowned epic poem about the titular Viking hero who is summoned by a kingdom in distress to battle a ferocious monster named Grendel, responsible for the deaths of many people in the land. And yet, accepting this task, Beowulf also faces the challenge of grappling with his own legendary heritage. Montreux, the animation enables a gripping and violent Viking film, especially during intense action scenes. Uh, Regrettably, once more, the human characters appear as insincere productions, exposing the constraints of motion capture technology from that period. Um, Most noticeably, the main character's animated face contrasts sharply with Ray Winston's powerful and authoritative performance, making the character seem devoid of life, despite his voice's commanding presence. In Tron Legacy, released in 2010, it's quite frequent for films to leverage advanced technology to make actors seem younger than their actual age. For instance, the Marvel Cinematic Universe has employed this technique on numerous stars, such as Robert Downey Jr., Michael Douglas, and Samuel L. Jackson. Uh, these instances demonstrate just how far this method has progressed since the release of Tron Legacy. The much anticipated sequel revolves around Kevin Flynn's son, Ray, who receives a message from his long lost father that propels him into the digital world known as the grid. Um, Apart from reenacting his character as Kevin Flynn, Jeff Bridges also undergoes a transformation to personify the malicious Clue. Since Clue is essentially a digital version of Flynn, it's a less of an issue that he doesn't seem entirely authentic in the digital realm of the grid. However, the film falters by employing the same technique to depict a younger Flynn during a flashback sequence set in the real world. In this context, uh, the video game-like appearance of the character appears incongruous and out of place. Um, in The Polar Express, released in 2004, director Robert Zemeckis employed motion capture technology for the first time in a full-length film. This cinematic adaptation was based on a popular children's book of the same title. And the story revolves around a young boy who is starting to doubt the enchantment of Christmas. Yet, when a train magically appears at his doorstep on Christmas Eve, he embarks on an extraordinary voyage to the North Pole, where he encounters Santa Claus. Despite boasting stunning animated segments like the unbroken shot, chasing a floating ticket through a wintry landscape, the human characters fall flat in their execution. The young cast seems to have adopted the blank stare that plagued these early motion capture films, resulting in emotionless expressions amidst all the enchantment. Tom Hanks assumes several roles within the film, but his endearing charisma fails to shine through in the eerie realm of his character portrayals. Well, that's it for today's rundown of the worst examples of the uncanny valley effect in movies. Um, it's always interesting to look back and see how far technology has come, but also how far it still has to go back in. And remember, you can't have a successful movie without a good cat. Or can you?